Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez of New York spoke for roughly 90 seconds on Tuesday night at the Democratic Convention to nominate a fellow Democratic socialist, Senator Bernie Sanders of Vermont, for the presidency and lauded the progressive movement he had helped advance over the course of the race. In remarks that she had been asked to deliver on behalf of Mr. Sanders, who received some delegates based on primary results, Ms. Ocasio-Cortez hailed a mass people's movement working to establish 21st-century social, economic and human rights, including guaranteed health care, higher education, living wages and labor rights for all people in the United States. The relatively small and procedural speaking role for Ms. Ocasio-Cortez, a huge young star in the Democratic Party, was disappointing to many of her admirers, especially given the swaths of time allotted on Tuesday night to lesser-known Democratic state officials and even Republicans like Colin L. Powell, the former Secretary of State. But those officials had backed Joseph R. Biden Jr. in the presidential race, while Ms. Ocasio-Cortez was a staunch champion of Mr. Sanders. Giving her a prominent role in the convention probably would have also provided grist for President Trump and Republican allies, who have sought to paint Mr. Biden as the puppet of left-wing Democrats like Ms. Ocasio-Cortez. Her comments on the strength of the progressive movement were also a reminder that even as Democrats welcomed some Republicans like former Governor John R. Kasich of Ohio and Mr. Powell to rally around Mr. Biden, the party was far from united around specific matters of policy, and the faction that had propelled Mr. Sanders to a leading candidate in the race early this year was still ardently behind his message. Ms. Ocasio-Cortez had recorded her remarks last Wednesday, a spokeswoman said, days before Mr. Kasich sought to minimize her place in the Democratic Party, suggesting that the outsized publicity she received had disproportionately magnified her views. Hours before the convention kicked off on Monday, the Congresswoman praised Mr. Kasich on Twitter for having woken up and realized the importance of supporting a Biden-Harris ticket, adding, "Something tells me a Republican who fights against women's rights doesn't get to say who is or isn't representative of the Dem Party." Although she never spoke Mr. Biden's name in her remarks on Tuesday night, the Congresswoman made clear with subsequent messages on social media for whom she planned to vote, issuing her deepest congratulations to Mr. Biden and expressing enthusiasm for fighting for our future together and reclaiming our democracy in November. The following is a transcript of Ms. Ocasio-Cortez's speech, as transcribed by the New York Times.